On December 26th of 2023, Isaiah, a middle-aged man, was left home alone for the night. His girlfriend, called Caroline, was out with some of her friends all evening and left Isaiah in charge of the house, which she admitted wasn't the smartest decision of her life. Her boyfriend was about as responsible as a toddler, and all she could do was pray that he wouldn't do anything stupid. Little did she know, though, that he would turn out to be the last of her worries, because just a few hours after leaving the house, this happened to Isaiah. For some strange reason, the door closed behind him once he entered the guest bedroom, followed by a banging sound from across the corridor. Out of pure fear, Isaiah ran back into his bedroom and locked the door behind him to prevent any unwanted entities from following him. Nothing else occurred that night, and he was too afraid to let his girlfriend know in case she blamed it on him and overreacted. The following video took place in a Russian household and featured a family taking some time to simply relax in their living room. They were watching some television together and discussing what board game they were going to play afterwards, with the group consensus leading to charades. But little did they know that they wouldn't even get to that stage before some weird stuff started happening. Immediately after these events, the family concluded that it must have been their grandma who was rushed to hospital after having a heart attack in the same house they were in. Unfortunately, she did not survive, and her loved ones had only recently come to terms with that fact. At least they knew now that she was still with them spiritually. The next day, most of the family had departed back to their own homes after the huge get-together, leaving the 5 who lived there and the grandfather of the family. It was roughly 3 p.m. when the boys were dismissed from the living room by their parents after keeping their grandfather company for a few hours. In their room, they sat down slandering their parents for not letting them do what they wanted earlier, and their grandmother clearly wasn't a fan of their words because she struck again, and this time she was just as prominent.
Бля, короче, ребята, нахуй, вызвали, блядь, демона. Кот, нахуй, под столом, блядь. Творится полная херня. Ёпта, бля.
Вот, блядь, дверь, сука, открылась только что, нахуй.
Бля!
Ёбаный в рот. Ебать, сука.
Нахуй, Герман, блядь, что происходит вообще?
Пиздец, я чё, ебу, что ли? Нахуй, сука.
Ёбаный.
Бля. Пиздец, нахуй, сука.
Бля, Герман. Нахуй. Бля. Короче, ребята, все, прощаемся, бля, творится полный пиздейшн, нахуй, бежим.
Somehow, several objects started to fall from countless shelves, and the 2 boys were in pure disbelief as to what to do. They sat there shouting curse words and calling the creature who caused this a demon, completely unaware of the likelihood that it was their grandmother, which the rest of the family pointed out earlier. After this bizarre incident, the boys sprinted downstairs and informed their father of what happened, and he believed believed them instantly considering what unfolded the day before. The mother offered the grandfather a lift home as he was terrified after hearing that things were continuing, and he accepted the offer. They both left the house, leaving the two boys and the father. He told them both to go to the guest room and avoid theirs whilst he cooked some dinner, so his wife had it ready when she arrived home. Even this didn't sneak by without a paranormal event, though.
Сейчас пытаюсь понять, что происходит, но какие-то аномальные явления непонятные, что у меня со стола падает всякая хрень, и вот сейчас на кухне пытаюсь поставить телефон. Оба-на! Заебись! Удачный момент.
Out of nowhere, the glass on the tabletop fell to the floor without shattering or even being damaged one bit. This was very odd, because the odds of a glass surviving a drop that high are very slim, so perhaps the ghost perfectly cushioned its fall. We'll never know. All we do know is that this has been the last publicly shared ghost encounter from the family for 6 months now, and we have no idea if they'll post another. You bet that if they do, though, I will be the first person to let you all know, so make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ashraf, a young ghost hunter new to the business, had been hired out by a company who were planning on renovating an old and abandoned hospital. The CEO of the company had their suspicions that the building had some sort of haunted entity inside it, but wasn't quite sure what. This is why they contacted Ashraf's business to do the trick, and they chose him for his first rodeo. It went well. I'll let you decide for yourself.
Nos íbamos a ir y se escuchó un bebé. ¿Se escucha? Es un bebé, güey. ¿Hay alguien?
Strangely, the sound of a baby crying could be heard, and this was very unsettling for Ash. He expected to be recording moving objects and things of the sort, but hearing a child cry, his eyes out definitely didn't float his boat. He reported back to his boss, showing the footage of the sound, and he got scolded for not going further into the facility for some more. He received a pay cut, but did not get fired. He is now contemplating seeking work elsewhere, though. He still wants to give the ghost gig a few extra tries first. This employee was doing her shift at her local convenience store, and everything was running smoothly. She was in the process of restocking some out-of-stock shelves before the store opened to the public again, but little did she know that this would turn out to be a very difficult task. This chore was known by the employees as the easiest one around, and anybody given it was being let off the hook for the day. However, this time was much different, and the reason why was very peculiar. Take a look.
Vean, 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 vean. Ahí ya empezaron a abrirse. Vean, observen. Híjole. Vamos a tratar de no acercarnos, Jorgito, porque... Vean, vean cómo se están abriendo las puertas. Vamos a ver de aquel lado. Ahí se ve cómo se están abriendo y cerrando. Toda la tarde he estado pasando esto, e inclusive ya hay gente que se dio cuenta, clientes. Y híjole, la verdad sí es un poco temeroso. Ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que, vean, ya le hablé a mi supervisor para que viniera a ver esto que está pasando. No me cree, pero digo, quedó de venir, hasta ahorita no ha venido. Y no nos hemos atrevido a ir a la parte de atrás en la cámara porque pues nos da un poco de temor, ¿no? Porque pues esto es algo sobre...
Somehow, the refrigerator doors took in turns opening and closing, which was an impossible event to happen without any human interaction. At least, that is what society deemed it to be, because it happened. Theorists suggest that a spirit was in the room doing this, and some more information given to us by the creator further backed up these claims. They explained that the room had a cold feeling to it immediately after the first door opened, and this is a common sign of a paranormal entity being present. Whatever they encountered that day was not nice, and they most certainly didn't want to see it in the store again. On a fateful winter night, 2 brave men ventured to their local graveyard to give their grandma's tombstone a visit. She had been gone for 3 years now, and this was what they called her death anniversary. In their family, they celebrated the lives of their passed away loved ones on the day they left, and it was a very wholesome and cool idea. Nothing had ever gone wrong while they hosted these days, and it seemed harmless, until their grandma came to give them a visit. At least they assumed it was her. I guess they'll never know for sure.
Entidad nos cierra esta puerta, miren lo que pasa.
Sí, se mira bien allá. Sí. Si estás aquí con nosotros, manifiéstate. Queremos verte. Queremos saber que estás aquí. Mira, mucho. ¿Lo viste?
Sí, se cerró. ¿Estás aquí con nosotros?
¡Uy! ¿Quién eres? Se cerró la puerta, güey. Se acaba de cerrar la puerta, neta. Se miró bien clarito que se cerró. Mira. ¿Hay alguien aquí adentro? Uy,
¿Quieres jugar con nosotros?
Niño, ¿dónde estás?
¿Quieres jugar con nosotros?
Mira, güey. Mira.
Está moviendo más.
Güey, ¿qué? Se está moviendo, güey. No manches, güey, se está moviendo. Mira, pues no hay nada, güey. Mira, ay. Niño, ¿en qué parte te encuentras?
The fence surrounding their grandma's grave opened by itself, and then immediately closed, which freaked the duo out to an insane extent. At first they were ready to turn around and make a run for it, but they decided to stay, in case it truly was the spirit of their gran. For a few moments afterwards, peace was present, and nothing really happened, but it didn't take long for strange noises to start playing around the yard. This phenomenon still cannot be explained to this day, and the duo are sure of themselves that they encountered their grandma. Again though, they'll never know. Roughly 3 years ago today, a young man who worked at the hospital captured a piece of footage that sent the hospital staff crazy. Alongside social media, the clip was so unexplainable that nobody knew what the next step should be, despite trying very hard to come up with a logical solution for it. It took place in Manzanillo Hospital, and the man who filmed the event was so frightened from it that he was dismissed as a doctor in that specific clinic and worked in a room on the first floor. Have a watch. Now at first glance it was very hard to determine what actually happened here, but after digging deeper, I found out for you guys, which is why you should subscribe. 14 seconds into the clip, the head of a human being, except faint and dull, peeped around at the doctor, and he was left standing in disbelief. At first, the hospital launched a full search for an intruder, but no one was found on site, and the mystery is still empty to this day. Trains are usually really safe methods of transport, with safety precautions implemented all across them. There is one huge problem with this transport method though, and it's that when the night falls, they change completely. What usually turns out to be a relaxed and speedy train journey morphs into a spooky and isolated night, where creeps and criminals run galore in the carriages. The upcoming clip was recorded at 11:30 p.m. during the dark hours of public transport, and let's just say that it lived up to the fear I've just described it to induce. Randomly, the sound of a girl screaming could be heard from inside the man's carriage, and of course, he was super confused. He looked left and right to try and spot whoever it was, in case he could provide help, but no one else was inside it. An important note is that that specific train hosted one carriage as well, so the noise mustn't have been from on board. When the man arrived home, he scanned the news to research if anything happened on the route he was traveling that night, and no articles were discovered. Could this have truly been a spirit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. On October the 13th of 2023, Miguel was having the best day of his life. He had received so many good deeds on that day that he said he couldn't compare it to another day in his life, and it was by far his favorite, until a spirit came and ruined it all. Life was literally going perfect, and seemingly nothing was against him on this specific October 13th, but all of this was moments away from no longer being the reality. The start of this clip can easily be blamed on the wind, but trust me, it gets much more real as time goes on.
Son casi las 3 de la mañana. Escuché a alguien, pero literalmente llamándome. Acá. Ahí está. No sé si se escuchará. Literalmente creo que me llamaron por mi nombre. Yo estaba medio dormido. No les voy a mentir. Me da miedo. Voy a tratar de captar. Es como mi método de defensa, ¿viste? Quiero ver si... Quiero ver si se ve algo, ¿no? Ay, mira. Esto que está acá me pasa siempre. Eso lo... No sé si llega. Andate, hijo de puta. De puta.
Despite the moving objects, Miguel wasn't completely convinced that something out of the ordinary was happening since there was a slight breeze in the air. However, seconds after making the decision in his head to go back inside, a tall, unnatural shadow figure stood right in front of him, and it was very intimidating. Using survival instincts, Miguel launched a pot at the figure, but it didn't move an inch. In fact, it went through and hit the shed door behind. It vanished shortly after, but Miguel couldn't unsee it and still can't to this day. These two Japanese men were approached by a real estate agent, offering them the deal of their lifetime. They put a pretty big house on the table for a fee way below average, and knowledgeably, the duo knew that something was fishy due to the deal being so unrealistic. They actually owned a YouTube channel titled Japanese Horror Entertainment and made a lot of their money exploring haunted locations, so they immediately thought of ghosts when questioning why the house was valued at such a low cost. They were right, and they were about to prove it through an investigation. It was roughly 3:30 in the morning when the upcoming clip was captured, and it was posted to their YouTube channel, which I mentioned earlier, Japanese Horror Entertainment. If you want to watch the full 20-minute experience, it's available on YouTube at OMG Film, and we're only covering a very small segment.
さ、前さ、
はい。
君たちが行って、なんか撮ってくれた映像あるんで、見たんだけどさ、
はいはい。
やばくない？
やばいっす。どう感じます？
結局さ、俺も契約がキャンセルになってるもんで、
あ、言ってましたね。
そう。なので、改めて、売り主さんに電話で、
はい。
この家って事故物件じゃないんですかみたいな。何か隠してないですかみたいな感じ。そんな強く言ったわけじゃないんだけど、
はい。
そしたら、事故物件ではないっては言うんだけど、
あ、そうなんですね。
そう。なんかね、煮え切らんというか、なんか全部はなんかこう話してない感じがしたもん。
At the door, an unsettling face could be seen squashing itself against the glass. Initially, the man stood there in silence and made sure to get a good shot of the face, but eventually he decided to walk towards it. Once he got close though, it vanished out of thin air. Fishing is an activity practiced for many reasons. Some people do it in the wild for survival, needing the fresh meat that the sea creatures require to survive. On the other hand, people simply do it as a leisure activity, finding fun in catching what they can, and then releasing them back in the water to continue their life. In the video you are about to watch, the man was out catching fish for fun when something extremely disturbing happened upon arrival back to his base camp. The area had a toilet block, which was unisex and public to any people passing by. This is why the man was so concerned once he heard what he did coming from inside.
Yo, what the f- What the? Bro. There's nobody in here. Yo!
Strangely, the sound of a human, seemingly a female, screaming echoed around the base camp, and this was very disturbing. Being the brave man the fisher was though, he decided to enter the bathroom in case someone genuinely needed help. This was when he found nobody though. Graveyards are the most likely places in the world for someone to experience paranormal activity, and this is why they are such spooky locations at nighttime. Wandering around these places gives off an eerie feeling, and it is understandable why considering how many dead people lie underneath you. The following video was captured in a graveyard and showcases one of the rare scenarios where a ghost was caught in the act on camera. Take a look.
Espíritu, alguna entidad, algún demonio de este lugar, quiero que me hagas un ruido y estás aquí conmigo. Solamente queremos ahí te encuentras con nosotros. Te estoy invocando y estás aquí conmigo. Solamente quiero saber que estás aquí conmigo. Ay, ya madre, no mames, no mames. Uy, oh madre, no manchen, no manchen, no manchen, no manchen, no manchen, no manchen. No manchen, no manchen, no manchen. Uy, oh madre. Uy, yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Yo sé que te encuentras en este lugar, queremos verte. Yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Ay, me dio miedo. Solamente queremos saber quién eres, qué es lo que necesitas. ¿Qué es lo que necesitas? Vieron, amigos, vieron.
Weirdly, the door opened on its own accord, and after revealing what was behind it, things got even scarier. Nothing. The fact that there was nothing visible in the area meant that something from the dead side of the world was tampering with the man that night, and it's safe to say he didn't enjoy it. These two women were getting ready to leave the house, but little did they know what was about to happen if they followed through. They had both been invited to their friend's 40th birthday party and had spent the entire morning getting ready for the event. They did their makeup, purchased new dresses, and even went as far as buying a very expensive present. It was undoubtedly going to be an amazing night, at least until they checked the cameras afterwards.
Включи практика разбережки, короче.
Угу.
Выключили.
Вещи.
Давай.
Just as they left the room to leave for the party, they got a notification for movement in their room and decided to leave it and look later. Thank the Lord they did. Somehow, an item moved by itself the second they left, and they still haven't found out why to this day. The ashes of loved ones are often kept by families to always remember those who passed away. When someone dies, they have the option to be cremated or buried, and they make this choice prior to death. If they choose to be cremated, then the family has the option to keep hold of the ashes from the burning, and the owner of the upcoming Airbnb did this. He decided to place the ashes on the piano because she always loved to play it at night, but the guests of the Airbnb far from loved it. Confused? Watch the clip.
Okay, I usually do not, or I never have believed in like haunted stuff, okay? But I'm out at Skinny Atlas Lake, the Fingers Lakes in upstate New York. And the Airbnb I'm staying at, the guy did say, just FYI, we do have people say that they hear a piano play at night. And I thought it was bullshit. And I swear to God, I've heard it. It plays. There's nobody fucking in here. I'm going to walk over here. So in case I die, I have a documentation of it, okay? It's an old house. It's on a beautiful lake, though. But I did find out the guy who owns the place, daughter died in a car wreck, and her ashes are on the piano. God, I get chills. But that's the piano, and it plays at night, and it freaks me out. I have chill bumps just being in this room. I do not get a good vibe, but it's scary as shit.
Supposedly, the piano started playing at night, and the story is believable considering how dark the piano was, looming in the shadows. However, some people need to see it to believe it, and the creator of this video posted a second, actually capturing the piano on camera whilst it played. Undeniable proof.
I'm fucking telling you, this place is fucking haunted. Do you heard that?
Yeah, I can't do this shit. This is so scary.
No, you go in there with me.
Yes. You have to go first.
Stay behind me. Fuck you. It keeps playing, I swear. No, dude, I'm not going up in that bitch. It's this piano, I swear to God it is. No, dude, you got me fucked up. If I die, I swear, I will. Oh, God. Oh, shit! Dude, no.
After the two men argued for a moment over who would go first, they eventually went into the room and nothing happened, but not for long. A singular note was played on the piano, and they were both sent running to the local bar to drink their fear away. It took them 3 hours to return. On November 16th of 2013, Marcus, a young man, was in his apartment with his roommate when one of the weirdest things of his life happened. It was getting late, and he and Johnny, the roommate, decided they would go to sleep, so they had enough energy for their early lecture the next day. They brushed their teeth, washed their faces, and followed their regular routines before going to their beds. This is the exact moment that the apartment suddenly filled with cold.
Rato que escuché algo, ¿viste? Uy. Uy, no, voy a prender la luz. Uy, voy a ver algo en el baño, el vaso. Uy, chamo. Ronnie, parate, chamo. Hey. Ronnie. Uy, la luz. Chamo, parate. ¡Ey, Ronnie! ¡Ay! ¡Ay, chamo! ¡Uy! ¡Chamo! ¡Chamo, parate!
For some unknown reason, the door to the closet moved in Marcus's room, and he didn't know how to react other than beckoning for his roommate's assistance. Moments after ending the recording, Johnny stormed into the room, and all of a sudden the feeling of coldness left the household. Marcus still vividly remembers the event to this day and always tells it as a story. Children's songs can be the most wholesome things on the planet. They educate kids on all sorts of things and help them develop in general, serving the same purpose as children's stories. However, in some scenarios, these heartwarming tunes can turn into gut-wrenching nightmares and make things extremely demented. You see, at night, when there is nobody around, all these songs do is add to the eerie feeling that a ghost is hovering around the area, and in the following video, this was most definitely the case.
No puede ser, no. ¿A qué? ¿Me vas a comer? No, me vas a comer. Me vas a comer bien la pija, ¿sabes? Ya paranormal. Me dio huevo, Ahí va. Tuki, Ahí está. Perfecto, ahí está. Actividad paranormal, la verga. No, chúpame.
Disturbingly, the vehicle started playing the popular song Baby Shark, except it wasn't the same as usual. It made the room cold and tormented the victim so much that he was forced to put it outside. This is when things escalated to the next level and the door started knocking. He needed to stop recording and fueling the creature. He explained afterwards that the knocking continued for a good 17 minutes before coming to a halt, and he was given peace for the rest of the night. To his daughter's dismay though, he threw the vehicle into the trash, but made it up to her by purchasing a new one the next week. All he could do was hope that it wouldn't also be haunted. After purchasing the new bike for his daughter, things went fine for a solid week. He became so convinced that the house had no spirits in it that he finally turned off the air purifier, which he believed would help them. Little did he know that this was the worst mistake of his life, because just 3 hours after doing this act, all hell broke loose.
Estaba escuchando unos ruidos que venían de la pieza acá. ¿Por qué mierda esto siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, hermano? Siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, brother. ¿Vos qué onda? ¿Vas a hablar ahora vos? ¿Vas a hablar? No vas a hablar. No sé la verdad, qué decir. Mirá, escúchame. Punto número uno. Si vos pensás que me va a asustar cerrando y abriendo puertita, me podés comer bien los huevos, ¿está? Punto 2. Si te gusta abrir y cerrar puertita, me podés limpiar los platos, barrer un poquito, ¿sí? Y punto 3, me voy a dormir y te vas a dejar de romper la pelota, ¿estamos? Nada, es increíble. Bueno, bienvenidos a mi sitcom.
Out of nowhere, he couldn't find his daughter and searched the entire house for her. It was after checking her room, though, that the door slammed shut and he was taken very aback due to nobody being in there while he searched it. What made things even stranger is that the father decided to go to his ex house to see if she visited her, but she wasn't there. It was when he arrived home that his daughter was laying on her bed, like nothing happened in the first place. It was the morning of the solar eclipse, and the following family were really excited to see it. They were quite a young family compared to other ones, and the children especially weren't able to recall an eclipse happening in their lifetime. This called for some big hype towards the event, and they woke up very early out of excitement. I bet they regretted this though, because little did any of them know that the eldest child, Justin, was going to encounter a spirit that day. If you listen closely, you can hear a voice asking how Justin found it, but we don't know what it was yet, and neither did Justin. He ran upstairs to his mother's room, who decided to post the footage to social media and explain what happened publicly so that everyone could understand the story. And it was a very creepy story time, to say the least.
When he dropped his noodles, he ran upstairs, came busting in my room, jumping all over my bed, hiding in the corner, screaming and hollering, saying he didn't want to die. Somebody was in the house, telling me to get mine because somebody was in the house. And I'm like trying to tell him to calm down, be quiet, so I can hear what he's saying. Like, nobody's in the house. I kept telling him, nobody's in the house. Like, calm down. What is wrong? What happened? But like, he kept yelling. And I'm like, calm down. So then I call my dad. And I'm like, Dad, man saying somebody in the house. He won't get out of my room so that I can get them out the closet so I could figure stuff out. And he would not move. We started hearing footsteps. I mean, big, heavy feet coming up the steps. So, like, now at this point, I'm terrified. I throw my robe on. I push him into the room with his brothers. I started coming down the steps with nothing in my hands. At this point, I'm just thinking I'm going to have to knock somebody backwards up the steps and just do what I got to do at this point because I got 5 kids in here. So, I come down the steps. I'm like, I'm going to get my hammer because my hammer is normally in my closet, but I know it's downstairs.
Fortunately, after going down the stairs to check what was coming up, the mother found nothing at all, and she was very confused. Was this the act of a spirit? Let me know what you think in the comments. This bar worker was in the wine cellar, making sure everything was clean before opening the building. However, just as he was about to finish his job, an unexpected mess came up out of nowhere, and he was forced to clean that up as well. The cause of this mess was very strange and most definitely led to paranormal activity. So, take a look for yourself. For some strange reason, the wine on the shelf started to fall to the ground, creating a huge mess for the employee to tidy. This was very unfortunate because he had just finished cleaning the floor, and this meant he had to do the task all over again. To his luck, his boss generously offered him $20 for cleaning this up, since it definitely wasn't the poor guy's fault. What do you guys think happened here? All the staff were sure a ghost was present. On November 30th of 2022, a couple of security officers were in the basement of their local supermarket. This basement was purposefully tucked away from the rest of the people in there to make sure none of the public could access it, and it was very important that it stayed this way. It contained loads of legal documents and was where the security cameras were viewed from, which was why the guards were down there on that day. Except what they thought was going to be a simple checkup turned into an extremely complex situation.
Extraño en la oficina, estamos probando qué onda y la puerta del baño se cierra sola.
Fíjate si hay en el baño, fíjate.
Primero vamos a... No. No se ve nada. ¿Vieron eso?
Abrile. Picante.
Muchachos, no vengan a las 3 de la mañana a la oficina porque esto es paranormal. ¿Viste eso, José?
Strangely, the door continued to open and close, but not fully. It only moved slightly, but it was more than enough to generate enough power for a banging sound. Once the guards checked behind the door to see if any unwelcome guests were down there, they revealed no one except an empty bathroom. Could this have been the wind? Of course not. They were in the basement. This piece of footage is still widely debated to this day. A young woman who had only recently moved out of her parents' house loved singing. She attended university, but her true desire was to become a full-time musician, and she knew the drive that this entailed. Every day she would be singing her favorite songs and trying to improve her vocals, but she was very embarrassed about this and didn't really let many people know. She was very quick to stop when the following thing happened.
It's getting cold. Wasn't feeling it's getting old. Was I made tomato
¿Quién? ¿Quién anda ahí?
Separating everything else that happened which was creepy, there was one event within this which was very hard to pick up on. Take a guess in the comments before I show you though. At roughly 39 seconds, a black head-looking silhouette peeked above the door, right at Sidra, and she didn't pick up on it. She opened the door, despite it being an unwise decision, and watched the red item float into the distance. Now, after watching such a bizarre sequence of events unfold in front of her very own eyes, Sidra had no idea what she could do to stop this. She debated calling her parents and asking for any advice, but she was scared she would be called crazy, and they would pin the cause on her being nervous about living alone. After around an hour of contemplating, though, she came up with a decision. She would pretend nothing happened. For the next couple of days, this plan worked flawlessly. Nothing out of the ordinary happened, and she felt relieved and thought that maybe she was just imagining things. However, 3 nights after the clip prior, the spirit striked again.
Mami, te grabo este video porque están tocando constantemente la puerta. Están pasando cosas que no son normales. ¿Quién? ¿Quién? No hay nadie. ¿Viste eso?
This time, it seemed to have found itself inside her apartment and managed to move Sidra's bedsheets, which freaked her out to an insane degree. Again, though, she was too frightened to inform her parents in case they had a bad reaction. She chose to do the exact same thing as last time and ignore it. But if one more thing happened, she wouldn't be coping with it any longer and would speak to her father about it. Just like last time, Sidra had 2 peaceful days where nothing happened, but this time she didn't allow herself to be completely settled. She was tense at all times and jumped at even the slightest of disturbances. It was on the 3rd day of peace again that it was broken, though. This time, the black silhouette in the door looked more like a hand rather than a head, and the glass moving by its own accord put the icing on the cake for Sidra. Immediately after stopping the recording, she dialed her father and spoke to him on the phone for roughly 5 minutes. She claimed that a lot of things were moving around her during this, and the spirit clearly wasn't pleased by her decision. Understandably, her father was skeptical, but said she could come round for the night. It was when he saw the videos that he was fully convinced, though. He let her move back in for a year. In the following video, the lead security officer at a factory by the train station was looking at the cameras. The camera he was watching was located right at the edge of the facility where the rail line actually was. They made sure to check this specific camera very frequently because it was the weakest point of the factory and was the most likely place for a break-in to occur. However, the last thing on their expectation list happened. Take a look.
Ahí está. Se va acercando al cerco. Ahí está. Activó los sensores. Y ahora atravesó el muro. Ahí va caminando allá. Salió el perímetro, cacha.
Como que cambia de forma la
Sí,
cuestión.
cambia de forma.
Vuelve a entrar.
Y ahora desapareció. Ahí anda todavía.
If you look very closely throughout the clip, a skinwalker could be seen venturing the tracks. It was made clear by the yellow box constantly surrounding it, and the guards had no idea how to react to such a phenomenon. At first, they came to the conclusion that it was likely some mist or fog that the camera picked up, but it was a clear sky that night, so I guess that wasn't likely the cause. And I equally guess we'll never know the true answer. The girl in the following video was feeling confident and decided that she would take some cute pictures in the mirror for her social media. You have all seen those kinds of posts before. Girls holding up the peace sign, doing a kissy face. Very common. What isn't common, though, is a literal possession happening next door to your house, whilst the pictures are being taken. In the following video, this is exactly what happened, and the screams of reluctance were so loud that an entire crowd gathered around the building.
Bob, estás en el baño cuando de repente en la casa del lado empiezan a hacer un exorcismo.
camándula? ¿Alguien tiene una camándula?
As you could hear, a huge commotion was happening outside, and the girl couldn't help but go to investigate the situation, with her camera, of course. She managed to capture the crowds and the police pulling up to see what the fuss was about. After being told, they busted into the house. In the house, they found a young woman rolling her eyes back and shaking as if resisting the pain. She was screaming very loudly. The common theory here was that she was being possessed. Fortunately, she had enough willpower to escape it. Camping is a popular way to go on vacation, and millions of families go on these trips every single year. It packages the perfect balance between modern-day human fun and nature, which is why so many people enjoy doing it. But the most popular places are packed. Some families enjoy packed locations, as it gives them a sense of safety and security, whereas others prefer a much more silent and relaxing time off work. The upcoming people were definitely the relaxation type, but little did they know something was on their rented site with them.
What the hell, guys? I don't know if you can see this. This is really weird. Domino, what is that? What the hell is that? Hey!
The figure looked similar to a cloud, and the family were certain that they weren't looking at a real human, especially when it refused to acknowledge their calls. In the following video, Ashraf, a young adult, had lost a bet with his friend group, and his punishment was to enter an abandoned hospital for 20 minutes and film it as proof. If he failed his mission, then he would have to pay his entire friend group $100 each, which would have totaled up to nearly $1,000, money that he couldn't afford to lose. Upon entering the hospital, there was nothing in there, and he surprisingly felt a sense of warmth and comfort. It took just 10 minutes for this sense to be completely erased, though, and replaced with something horrible.
Escuchen, no manchen. Hoy. A lo mejor es el aire, amigos. A lo mejor es el aire. A lo mejor es el aire el que está dando el abanico. ¡Y se regresó por el otro lado! No, mire que es, amigos, fue mi imaginación. O se regresó por el otro lado, amigos. Ve cómo se desenfoca. ¿Alguien está aquí? ¿Alguien está aquí? Escucho que camina alguien. Escucho que camina alguien. Se quedó parado. Se quedó parado.
Somehow, the ceiling fan started to rotate on its own accord, except not the way it was meant to. Ceiling fans are meant to spin rapidly to generate cold air and waft it into humans. However, this one was moving eerily slowly, almost like something was pushing it, rather than an electric current doing the trick. Dolls are some of the creepiest children's toys known to man, and it's obvious why this agenda has been pushed to us all. Many horror films that include paranormal activity showcase dolls in their most creepy forms, possession, and sometimes these evil phenomenons are captured outside of Hollywood. In the following video, a trio were in the garden looking into their collection of dolls as they were certain that there was an eerie feeling surrounding them all. Just before they started recording, the doll in pink moved its arm, but that was nothing compared to its next trick.
Interesting. I really don't know what to make of these dolls. I know that they all are haunted dolls. I'm pretty much 100% sure now that they are all haunted for sure. I mean, we already know that the big one is because we've seen her move in my office. All you fans out there have seen her do something. I'm not taking her with me when I move, so if any of you are interested in that doll, please let me know. Because I don't want to keep her, but I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested, I don't. Did that fucking thing just move?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
Her freaking face just moved towards you.
Oh my god, Heather.
Like that legitly just moved.
Oh my god. Clay, did you see that shit?
When you said you're not taking her with you.
Oh my god.
What was that?
I don't know, I just heard that.
I heard a girl's voice.
Are you serious? That wasn't one of you?
No.
Oh my god. Oh my god, she really just move?
Her face.
Oh hell no.
What the hell, Mom?
Oh my god. Heather, I got the cold chills from the top of my head to my freaking toe. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Oh my god, I cannot believe this shit.
I know, this is just insane.
This is freaking crazy, Heather. She actually moved.
And then this wind chime behind us just went crazy. Like, I don't know what to think of this. And then this doll here definitely moved.
I'm like blown away here. I am so blown away. The fuck is that? What is that?
The wind.
Two huge things happened in this recording that could not be ignored. First of all, whilst the eldest of the three was discussing passing the doll onto a new owner who was interested in haunted memorabilia, it tilted its head perfectly in her direction, perhaps indicating resentment towards the idea of having a new home. After this, the spirit presence started to ring the bells in the back garden, forcing them all to turn around in fear. Whatever was haunting them didn't only have control of the dolls, it had control of everything around them. The family did end up moving house in the end, and passed the doll onto a collector of creepy items. He loved it to pieces, and kept it in a clear box to observe its movements, etc. At least some fun was found out of it. In the video you're about to watch, a group of people who call themselves the Memorable Supernatural INC were investigating a building which had been home to several reports of supernatural activity over the past month. So much had gone on there that it was mandatory for someone to come and see what the problem was, hence why the group were called down to take a look. They were chosen due to their huge reliability and cheap rates, making them a perfect fit for a mid-range investigation like this. Despite being labeled a mid-level search though, the events that unfolded took it way above this status. Take a look.
Você quer me matar do susto, velho? Rapaz do céu, mano. Eu ri o Lula porque eu tô aqui, pessoal. Essa claridade pega no meu, eu não consigo ver. Igual da outra vez, ó. A luz pega, eu não consigo ver, pessoal. Não adianta o negócio aqui, fica no olho, ó. Eu não consigo ver. Rapaz do céu, moço. Rapaz, você é louco, moço. Pessoal, vou ser sincero pra vocês, cara. O coração quase voou na boca agora, mano. Você é louco? Ai, minha nossa. Olha isso. Cara do céu. Olha isso. Olha isso. Olha isso, cara. Impressionante. Isso aqui abriu, cara. Abriu aqui, ó. Rapaz. Você é louco? Ô Lu, você vai fazer o seguinte, você vai tirar essa camiseta, pera aí, não tira não. Você vai pôr outra camiseta aqui, ó. Toma essa aqui, você vai pôr essa aqui mesmo. Pega essa aí, você vai tirar, não tira ainda não. Eu não posso filmar, senão só me dá problema aqui no YouTube. Você vai tirar essa camiseta,
Você põe essa outra. Pelo que tá acontecendo aqui, entendeu? Pode ser que seja algo na roupa, mas você vai tirar essa camiseta, você põe essa.
Somehow, the cabinet shot open without any human interaction and even closed itself, meaning that something or someone must have done it. The only problem was that nothing was in sight. After experiencing this, the man looked inside the cabinet to investigate what he could find, but nothing was on the other side. Not even the wind can make things move like that. He quickly ended that specific tape and sent it over to his boss, who was compiling a file for the people paying them to do this job. This evidence would be minor compared to the other things they would capture, though. Later on in the day, the group decided to have a little rest, as they had been searching for the entire day when a disturbance decided to disrupt them. It was very weird and looked extremely unnatural. Even the experts back in their company couldn't explain what kind of spirit caused it.
Você vai tirar a camiseta aí, ok, Lúcio? Isso, vai com jeito, tira a camiseta. É isso, Lúcio. Tá dando certo aí? Vamos lá. Não posso filmar você tirando, tá certo. É isso. Bom, Lúcio tá com outra camiseta agora, pessoal. Opa, cadê? Cadê a camiseta, Lúcio? Cadê a camiseta, velho? Cadê a camiseta? Aonde, moço? Aonde, velho? Rapaz, caça aí, cadê a camiseta? Moço, onde foi parar?
Isso tinha posto aqui a camiseta, troquei por ele aqui. Pode ver ali, ó, não tá ali. Ai, meu Deus do céu.
Minha nossa, dá uma olhada aí atrás.
Aí.
Olha isso, pessoal. Ai. Cara do céu, velho. Arrasta o sofá. Arrasta esse sofá. Arrasta.
Shockingly, the carpet slung itself off from the sofa onto the floor, and the duo in the room were taken very aback from this. They called for the other 3 people upstairs to come and see if they could detect something, but by the time they arrived on scene, all evidence of a sighting was gone. Now the group had more than enough evidence of paranormal activity, and they decided to give one big attempt to get rid of whatever was haunting the property. Their contract with the house owner stated that if they were able to get rid of the spirit, then they would be paid an additional $300, a bonus that no man could possibly turn down. They set up their equipment in the kitchen and gave one big attempt. It's up to you to decide how that went in the comments.
Veja que eu levanto o braço aqui, mas eu tava olhando pra ela, não queria perder um momento aqui. Você sentiu algo aqui agora? Quem é que está aqui neste lugar? O que você sentiu, Lúcio?
Calafrio, parece que tinha algo perto atrás de mim.
O que é isso? O que é que você tá sentindo?
Calafrio, uma coisa esquisita, parece que tem algo.
Tá tremendo a mão, Lúcio? Olha o jeito da vela, cara. É torta ou não é, pessoal? O meu nome é Ulisses Deadline. E eu sei que minha presença desloca espíritos obscuros de lugares e cantos como esse. Quem é que está aqui? Opa, que é isso? Que é isso?
Ai, meu Deus do céu.
Rapaz! Minha nossa, vocês viram o jeito que mexeu isso aqui, cara? Cara, é impressionante. Minha nossa. Você é louco? Lúcio, calma, Lúcio. Calma. Eu vou estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui no local. Cara, eu tô inteiro arrepiado, cara. É impressionante ou não é? É impressionante ou não é? Olha isso. Olha isso. Rapaz. Deixa eu ficar com isso aqui, ó. Eu vou estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui neste local. Nós vamos estar fazendo uma limpeza aqui nesse local, Lúcio. Cara, é impressionante ou não é? Você é louco pra mim, deu.
In the middle of their ritual to communicate with the ghost and identify its reason for being present, the chairs started moving, and this wasn't a good sign. While you are communicating with a ghost, it's a bad sign if it begins to move objects without being prompted to do so. This was happening here and closed their report for the day. The group decided that $300 wasn't enough to deal with a ghost of this manner. Their negotiations failed, and the owner looked for someone else to do the trick. This man was home alone when suddenly the lights started to flicker all around him. He had no idea what to do, so he instinctively reached for his phone to record what was going to happen next. If he didn't, then there was no doubt he would be called crazy by anyone he dared to share the story with. He explained after the incident that it was the spookiest moment of his life, and he wouldn't get paid to live it again. Let me know if you think he was exaggerating in the comments. I certainly don't.
Amigo, o estoy loco o se está moviendo la mesa del comedor sola. Mira. O sea, ¿ves? ¿Ves que se está moviendo eso? Y la mesa recién se estaba moviendo ahí, boludo. Mirá, 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 boludo. ¿Qué mierda? What the fuck?
The table moved very aggressively in a way which could have quite easily harmed the man behind the camera. He claimed that a feeling of cold wept over him as the table moved and his hairs stood up on his arms, both common signs that a spirit was having some good fun. The next day, the same man was on his sofa in the living room watching television, and all of a sudden the air purifier unplugged itself. Following the same sequence as the day before, he took out his camera and started filming to see what evidence he could gather. And to his dismay, it wasn't good.
Amigo, ¿te acordás que te dije que tengo un espíritu en mi casa, chabón? Mirá la silla. ¿Ves, boludo? ¡Ay, qué impresión, amigo!
The chair moved right in front of his eyes, which proved to everyone he wanted to share the event with that nothing he said was fake. Whatever this ghost was, it was safe for the man to say that it wasn't a shy one. Alex, an adult fairly new into the adult world, had recently inherited his grandma's house, and he was pleased that she decided to pass it on to him. He had been really struggling financially since finishing college and never managed to get into university, so an inherited place to stay was the most helpful thing in the world. Although pleased with his property though, he was of course upset about his grandma's passing and cried quite frequently about it. They were very attached when he was younger. He was going to miss her, but little did he know that she was right next to him.
Okay, I am up here where all the different, scary activity has happened, and I'm hearing what sounds like somebody walk around on the floorboards. As I'm up here, I can feel, the pressure of steps landing around me. I don't really know what's going on. It just seems pretty fucking crazy to me. I don't know. This is not what I signed up for when I got this house.
Whilst walking around upstairs, the perfect silhouette of his grandma was standing in the doorway, and after slowing it down, Alex was even more certain that he knew what he was looking at. Upon alarming the rest of his family, though, they explained that he was in a time of grief, and what he captured was probably just a reflection or a shadow, essentially deeming him to be crazy. Do you agree? Give your thoughts down below, and subscribe whilst you're down there. Storage buildings are some of the most eerie places someone can visit. Take that from someone who used to visit them every other day. These places are literal corridors that stretch very far and usually have nobody else on them, making it feel empty. It's the closest thing humanity has to the back rooms, and that's saying something. In the upcoming clip, Wayne and Manuel, two owners of a business, were next to their storage unit, adding some new stock to it that they had just received. Little did they know, though, that someone else was in there, and they couldn't even see who.
Se escucha adentro. La verga.
Randomly, the sound of a child crying and screaming echoed around the storage place, and this was creepy for many reasons. Either a real child was in pain and needed help, or a paranormal spirit was messing with them. The latter was the more likely option. Over the past week, Juan had been hearing the same noises at night, and he was sure to alert his business partner that this was the case. Hurriedly, they closed their storage unit and locked it before hurrying out of the building. On their way out, they questioned the receptionist on whether or not they heard the noise, and the answer they got was shocking. The woman had not heard a peep. Home they went. Once they arrived home, Juan decided to do some paperwork in his office and closed the door to make sure no disturbances took him out of his working state of mind. However, something was already in there with him, and it did exactly what he wanted to avoid. Out of the blue, tons of items started falling off shelves, and no, there was not a magnitude 10 earthquake going on. In fact, there wasn't an earthquake at all. The duo still deal with the so-called storage spirit to this day and have no idea how to get rid of it. Feel free to help them in the comments in case they see this. On October the 25th of 2023, nearing 10 p.m., a family were all settling down before getting ready for bedtime. The mother was laying down in the living room after a long day of work while the kids were all talking to each other at the table, full of energy, as always. The night was one of the most normal ones the family had ever had. Barely any arguments and a couple of tired parents, however, things were going to get weird much quicker than expected. Randomly, some demonic noises started to be heard, and the mother of the family asked the children what they were doing. She was used to them messing around and causing chaos, so of course they were the first people she pinned blame onto. However, they denied everything. Too tired to argue, the woman rolled back into rest, but this is when the entire sofa moved out of the blue. Stuff like that does not happen naturally. There must have been a ghost present. In the following video, a young and innocent girl was showing off her doll's cutlery when it suddenly decided to show its gratitude. She owned the doll for over 6 years, and her parents insisted on purchasing some new cosmetics every month if she was good. She had just received some at the time of this recording. It was approximately 3 p.m. when she decided to show the new cutlery set, and things got creepy fast.
Chilla. Ahora tengo 2 tenedores así, uno rosita, igual que el cuchillo que mostré al principio, no sé si lo mostré al principio, y este tenedor amarillo. Pues tener, se me está cayendo todo, perdón, se me está cayendo todo. dos cuchillos amarillos iguales. Tenemos otro cuchillo amarillo, pero más como amarillo flúor. Una cuchara. Un rosquete para aplanar masa. Una cucharita. Y un tenedor. Bueno, ya. Después, las tacitas. Tengo esta tacita rosita y esta tacita como fucsia. Huevo. ¿Sí?
Strangely, the doll moved, and at first the girl didn't notice what had happened. Confused, she turned back to the camera and continued to show off her new collection, but the doll definitely wanted some recognition for its acts. It moved again, this time right in front of the poor girl's eyes, and she instinctively ran to her mother. We haven't been updated since, but what we do know is that she hasn't uploaded any doll videos. In the following video, a caring mother of 2 was watching The Little Mermaid whilst waiting for her husband to come home with the children. They had all gone to McDonald's to bring home dinner, and she was eagerly awaiting her food as she was very hungry. However, just 7 minutes after the trio left the house, one of the worst sequences of events in the woman's life happened. She claimed afterwards that things got so spooky that she developed a new fear of being home alone, and after giving the clip a watch, you'll most certainly agree. As Ariel, the mermaid in the movie, started to sing while her voice was being stolen, items around the house started moving. The irony of this being paired with the evil movie scene made things much creepier for the mother, and she desperately tried to shut the television off, which for some reason didn't work at all. This carried on for 10 more minutes, until her family came back through the door and everything stopped. She showed them the video, and none of them could comprehend what happened that evening. In this spine-tingling video, captioned with things that happen at night in the office, a male employee was roaming around his workplace. It was very late, and he had only just finished catching up with what he missed out on during his holiday, so he was given the duty to lock up after himself. He was walking around making sure to close every door so that his boss didn't get angry the next morning when he caught something unexplainable. At first, his clients didn't believe what he saw, but fortunately, he captured video evidence and none of them knew what to do about it. Take a look.
¿Quién es? A la madre.
Weirdly, the chair spun around by itself, and this called for the man to do a quick search of the area. For all he knew, someone else could have ran from under the desk, and there was a break in which was the last thing he wanted. As odd as this may have been though, he found nothing. And neither did the cameras the next day. Similar to the last clip we looked at, this one involved a sole employee working late at night by themselves. In this specific recording, it was a factory worker who wasn't quite finished and was finalizing some box positionings to make it easy for the collectors in the morning. Despite making life easy for someone else though, something decided it was going to make his life hard, and nobody knows what to this day. Confused? Take a look and figure it out firsthand.
Lo único que tengo como apoyo pues es mi propia cámara para grabar, porque no hay nada que me pueda ayudar a demostrar que aquí hay algo, porque realmente sí lo hay. Sí lo hay. No quiero especular, pero es que cada vez esos golpes, esos sonidos... ¡Ay, cabrón! ¡Ay, no mames, no mames! ¡Ay, cabrón! ¡Ay, güey! Tranquilo, tranquilo, todo está bien. Todo está bien, todo está en orden. No hay nada. No hay nada, no hay nada.
For some strange reason, one of the items used to transport boxes started spinning around in circles, and once the man realized what was happening, he was utterly terrified. He immediately ran around the factory to see if there could be any logical cause for it, but in the back of his mind, he knew it was a ghost. He was highly religious and believed in that kind of stuff, so it did make sense for him to succumb to it much quicker. It is safe to say that he prayed extra hard that night. Graveyards are considered to be the most haunted places on the planet, and it is very understandable why this is the case. They are places riddled with dead people, and always carry an eerie feeling around them, paranormal or not. In the video you are about to see, a man called Darwin was dared by his friend group in a game of truth or dare to enter a graveyard at 3 a.m. and determined to not get embarrassed in front of his crush. He decided to follow through. He wouldn't have made such a decision if he knew what was going to happen next, though.
Video completo en página Espectros
¿Qué luz quieres? Quiero que te muevas. Tiene algo escondido. Uy. Ahí tiene algo escondido. En esa parte de ahí. En esa parte de ahí tiene algo escondido, amigos. Yo ahorita lo chequé. Dime qué luz quieres, solamente quiero saberlo. ¿Por qué quieres luz? ¿Qué es lo que te pasó? Dime qué es lo que te pasó. Ay, Dios, ay, Dios, ay, Dios, ay, Dios, ay, Dios, no manches, no manches, no manches. Lo vieron. No mames, pon Dios, apágate. La madre, amigo, no manches, se acaba de mover eso enfrente. Ay, no mames, amigo, lo vieron.
Strangely, the stone piece turned 90 degrees to face Darwin, and for a brief moment he sat there completely stunned. It didn't take long for him to snap out of this confusion though, and enter flight mode, terrified of a possible follow-up to such a bizarre event. He and his friends vowed to never venture near the graveyard again, and the ironic thing is that he went on to lose that game of truth or dare around later when he got dared to kiss someone in the group who wasn't the one he liked. Life is all fun and games until reality slaps you hard in the face, and this is what happened to Luis, a Mexican male who was having the time of his life. He had been out clubbing with tons of people and had a lot of fun with the women present. He had gotten ahead of himself despite having a girlfriend at home, and his friends further encouraged him to have some fun, explaining how she wouldn't find out. He pulled up at home in his car, and what happened next was crazy, but it's going to take some explaining to link it to him cheating, so hear me out.
Ya por fin en casita. ¿Qué haces ahí? Ay, a la mierda. Está mal, güey. ¿Qué, en serio? ¿Así es la cosa? Salgan. A ver, revisen si hay alguien por ahí.
Once he arrived home, an item in the garage moved by itself towards the car, almost as if it was trying to damage it. Louis stood there confused and not knowing what to do for a few seconds, until he opened a door and let his dogs into the room. They trotted in like nothing happened and greeted their father, but little did he know that their mother wasn't with them anymore. He went into the living room and called for his girlfriend, but received no response. All he found was a letter from the ambulance team to call a number. He did. Was the spirit taking action here his girlfriend, or was it a shock coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments. On September the 20th of 2023, Olivia, a worker at her local cafe, was the only member of staff on site. This was because they had reached their low time where the expected customer rates were at 3 per hour. This was a very easy group of customers to tackle for a singular employee. At least it was on the surface, but the customers didn't turn out to be the problem.
Guys, I'm working by my fucking self, and I hear a voice in the back. What the f, bro?
Out of nowhere, Olivia heard a banging noise from the storage room, and instead of going to face it, she checked the cameras first. Surprisingly, nothing looked misplaced or out of the ordinary. It would shortly though. For some reason, objects in the room started moving by themselves, and Olivia was left utterly speechless as to why. Because of this confusion, she contacted her coworker, called Kelsey, who was on shift the next morning to investigate the interior, staff-only sections of the cafe. She searched for a good 2 minutes to see if she could find any evidence of a human or an animal living in the facilities. This is the footage from her search.
Hi guys, this is Bernice. Jocelyn didn't come this morning to work, but she wants me to give you a tour of the back rooms and the storage. So come on, let's go. Well, this is over here is where the incident happened, which was kind of crazy because when they told me last night, I was like, what the fuck? And obviously people saw another person, but I didn't see no one, and I don't even know how a person can fit in here, you know? So yeah, it's kind of weird. As you can see, nobody can hide in here, so it would be kind of weird seeing someone in here. So let's go upstairs. That's where like we be hearing all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's kind of scary up here, honestly. I don't like it. It gives creepy vibes. And this is your room. Hi, no puedo ver. But over here, like, this is just like a place to chill. There's a bathroom. I don't know what the fuck that is. And yeah. So I think here is like where we hear most of this stuff. But I don't know. What do you guys think it might be? I don't know. I'm just new here. All I know is that when something happens to me, I'll be like, give me a raise. And like, I don't like these stairs too, because, man, like, I don't like them. Eesh. What do you guys think? What do you guys think might have happened? Ay, ay, ay. And yeah, so that's the tour. Comment if you want to see more.
Unsurprisingly, she found no one on her adventure and sent it back to Olivia for her to upload to TikTok. This wouldn't be the end of the sage, though. Once Kelsey completed her search and found no evidence, Olivia decided to raise the concern to her manager, who gave consent for a full camera check. The manager expected to find nothing and have the employees move on with their days, but something truly was caught, and everyone present was left speechless. This happened just as Kelsey left the room during her search, and they started to theorize that the ghost preferred acting when no one was present. To this day, the cafe occasionally captures weird stuff in the room, but at this point they've accepted that it is normality. Randonaut is an app used by many friend groups to go on cool adventures together. The basic concept of the app is to think of something you want to do. For example, go to the park, and it will take you to a random place nearby that satisfies that need. Clearly, these girls were in the mood for a dangerous adventure though, because where it took them was the definition of eerie.
Like they're doing a ritual. Dude, this is real. This is real. This is not a game. This is when we get murdered. Dude, this is not real. Dude, this is like real.
The noises sounded somewhat like a demonic ritual, and the girls decided to stick around and get a TikTok out of it. Unfortunately for us, they weren't brave enough to venture into the building and turned around in fear pretty quickly. What they managed to capture that day was still pretty creepy though. The following video was captured using the CCTV at a daycare and caught a very strange event unfolding. Usually when ghosts decide to haunt someone, they will move things and make noises to torment their victims. But they never become physical or break anything of value. At least not for most people. In the spine-tingling content you're about to see, a group of children were in the playroom being monitored by the security guard when they zoomed into something surprisingly weird. Take a look.
John, how is it doing that? John, how is it doing that? But wait, John, it's about to break on its own. It's gonna break on its own.
You have to watch it until it breaks. That's when I start crying.
Watch, John. Are you watching this thing? Yeah. It's not moving. No. Oh, in there. No, watch. Oh. Watch, John. Watch.
Man, it hurts so bad.
Nobody listens to me. There's ghosts in here. Nobody listens to me.
Watch
It's about to go crazy and break. It's still moving, y'all! It's still moving! It's still moving!
If it floats in the air and goes for the child, I'm gonna freak out. And then it just moves. It's so good. It just came out.
My hand's shaking. I can't.
How's this funny?
It's like this or like this. It's not like
poor Brooke, get in the path of the demon.
She's like, maybe I should put my feet on the table.
I feel like I need to be away from this screen.
Oh my gosh.
Just in the world. When you're pulling stuff out loud, dude, this is weird to make it. Don't worry, get a bit. We should send to the scary 100 people.
Nobody listens to me. There's ghosts in this building, and nobody listens to me. I don't know if it's demons, I don't know if it's ghosts, but there's something in this building.
Because I'm telling you, like we've seen, like 8 years, stuff had just disappeared.
Somehow, the queue started moving by itself and eventually smacked the table, which broke it into 2 pieces. For some reason, the children were not fazed by this, but the adults most definitely were. If you can come up with any logical reason for this happening, then let me know in the comments, but I'm certain it was the act of a spirit. Hamza was a young freelancer who was paid to go on ghost hunting missions, specifically ones who wanted them erased rather than detected. He had spent 13 years researching spirits and was a strong believer that he knew how to deal with them effectively. This is why so many people chose to pay him to do so. However, some spirits are much different than others, and perhaps Hamza had no experience with the type he was about to encounter because he handled it very poorly.
Uy, no mames, ¿qué fue eso?
¿Hay alguien?
¿Qué fue eso, amigos? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? Oye, alguien corre, alguien corre, alguien corre. Alguien está corriendo.
¿Hay alguien aquí?
Miren, aquí hay puertas, como que alguien quitó la puerta.
¿Hay alguien aquí?
Uy, 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 se acaba de mover esto, amigos.
In case you didn't know, one of the worst ways a human can react to a ghost moving something is with fear, because all that does is empower the creature even more. Spirits, especially demons, feed off the fear of their victims, and Hamza fed it exactly what it wanted, hence why the next event happened.
Amigos, se acaba de mover esto. Y esto se movió.
¿En dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Queremos verte.
Se acaba de mover esto. Uy, 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 uy. Uy, uy, uy. Uy, uy. Ahí está caminando, amigos. Ahí está caminando, ahí está caminando. Ahí está caminando.
¿Hay alguien?
Uy, me caigo.
¿Hay alguien aquí? Si estás aquí, quiero que te manifiestes.
Uy, ¿qué fue eso? ¿Qué es eso?
Again, he made his inner fear very apparent here, and no wonder the mission came out as a failure, and he didn't make any money from it. It was a very odd experience for Hamza because he never got afraid of paranormal activity, but he kept reminding himself that maybe this creature was demonic, and that was a step too far. Some of the videos that you see on this channel can come off as so unbelievable that even I can't convince you otherwise. In the next clip, this may be the case at the start, but one segment changes everything. It was filmed on January 12th of 2017 and featured a bouncy ball in the decoration of a basketball. It's safe to say that something was wrong with it, and you are about to find out what.
Ahora también se hizo basquetbolista, ¿viste? Ahora también se hizo basquetbolista. Creo biencito se ve. Andás ahí que está moviendo. Andás ahí que está moviendo, te digo. No se sabe quién es. Mira, mira. Qué lo parió, ¿eh?
At first, the video seemed like a normal one, Balls are spherical, so of course they were going to roll around if placed onto a black tabletop. However, the way in which they did so was very unnatural. First of all, it constantly stopped and restarted, which shouldn't be possible. When the ball came to a complete standstill, a force must have been applied to make it move in a given direction again. On top of this, it started spinning in circles, which again shouldn't have been possible without the interference of another force. Was that force a spirit? Most definitely yes. This doctor had just finished prescribing one of his patients when he managed to secure an extra 30-minute break for being way ahead of schedule. He decided that instead of utilizing his break to the maximum though, he would use it to help some of the other doctors around the clinic by taking items to them and general help along those lines. No wonder he was awarded Employee of the Month so frequently. On this specific day though, I bet he regretted his kind actions because despite being a star for his peers, he put himself at the risk of a paranormal attack. Weirdly, a ton of items started collapsing around him, and his transportation tray moved by its own accord. This freaked the poor doctor out, and he quickly went to report the situation to the office, who reassured him they would look into it as he was such a valuable member of staff. We got no extra updates after this point. The Paranormal Team is a global group who investigate paranormal activity around the world. The group you're about to spectate on their journey was located in the United Kingdom and were posting content different from usual. The typical post on their YouTube channel would be the exploration of a famous haunted place, such as abandoned buildings and hospitals. However, in the one you are about to see, it was filmed in one of their friends' homes. Dave and Jen were a couple who were convinced that they had been experiencing paranormal activity over the past few months, and they were fortunate to have been friends with the Northern Paranormal Team of the UK. On the other hand though, they were unfortunate with what the team discovered.
Hi gang, we're at Jed and Dave's house doing another investigation because things I've been seeing here last year when we was up here. And it was quite creepy, so we're just going to do another investigation now, a little one. See what we can find.
We're using the night vision camera on the SLS, so that's why they're stood behind me, because we don't want to keep mapping them.
Exactly.
We want to see what we can map ourselves.
Just have a look around the room, Dave, you never know. We caught some orbs in there last time I was up here.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see some orbs now.
Yeah. You never know.
We're back.
It's stuck on two of the K2 meter.
K2, what was that?
Yeah, I've got Jed behind us doing the K2 and he's got a couple of lights on it, you know, so we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all we can do is just keep going
so
past and see. Whoa!
What the hell? Did I just see something or am I imagining it?
I don't know, let's go.
What the hell? I don't know. To me it looked like a face, Dave.
I thought I saw something.
That was really quick,
That was
really
better.
spooky.
That was.
I don't know, it seemed like a face, but I could be wrong. I won't say for definite.
What a face?
It seemed like one, yeah.
I don't talk bollocks. See the face?
I don't know, we'll have to look back on the video.
We'll have to review it, but that was really weird.
I thought I saw something.
Peer around the door.
Peering, yeah, peering on the door.
Well, this is stuck on two.
I know we've got a towel here.
Yeah, this is stuck on two. The door.
But we've got a towel. Could it be that?
Well, no, because it never moved. It come out from that like a peekaboo, and then went.
I wasn't looking. I just saw it at the corner of my eye. And I went back and I didn't see anything.
You're scared because something scared you because you look back. You thought you'd seen something.
Let's go check the kitchen.
Oh my God, what a house. Anyway.
Check the kitchen. Yeah, house. I got to fucking sleep here tonight, mate.
Wow. God bless you.
Well, the good thing is he's not picking up any like stick thingies, so we can use the actual, night vision. That's weird. We're gonna have to look back on that. I'm gonna have to look back on that.
Definitely have to review that footage. That was insane.
Quick check. Yeah, we know it's a towel.
Towel can't move.
Yeah, we were in here, we were doing a quick zoom around. Check. Yeah, it's when I went past the door there. I know you. But yeah, I'm out.
This is stuck on two, this. It's glitching to 3, you know.
I'm wondering if it's a towel. It has to be the towel.
A towel can't move when it's on unless we
We're going to have to look back. We're going to have to look back, guys.
Right, well,
We're going to have to look back.
Come back later.
Right, so we'll come back later. I'll go back on the footage now. So I'm going to end the recording now. All right. Cheers.
If you look closely at the timestamp of 51 seconds, the face of a ghost could be seen peeking round the door, and this was solid evidence that the house was haunted. At first, the group weren't certain that this was the case, and blamed all sorts of factors, including the carpet. Regardless, once they reviewed the footage, they knew exactly what the deal was. Jen and Dave were far from safe. They moved out of their house the next month. In the following video, the man on the bottom is doing some simple Omegle trolling, like all people on the platform do. He got paired with 2 men from the same country as him, which was a relief due to how many English speakers used the platform. Little did they know that this pairing would document one of the weirdest captures ever on the website. In the beginning, the man at the bottom was telling the duo their names and address, and he somehow got both the answers right, which surprised the duo. It was what that happened moments later in the video that terrified everyone present in that Omegle call.
Hola. Hola.
Hola muchachos, ¿cómo andan? Para, yo a ustedes los conozco.
Pues a Argentina no hemos ido, ¿eh? Así que no...
Sí, yo los conozco. ¿Vos no te llamas Javi? ¿Y vos sos Juan o no? ¿Son de España o no?
Mi nombre lo pone ahí, que es mi cuarto, pero...
¿Son de España o no? ¿De Madrid?
Sí. Sí.
Sí, yo que ustedes no lo
Pero puedes gastar la IP.
crean.
¿Tienes nuestra IP? ¿Eres de esos que buscan la IP y esas cosas? ¿Qué hace? Por este pago, bro.
Chicos, ¿les puedo hacer una consulta? ¿Ustedes qué estaban haciendo en su casa?
Pues nada. Esperar, que ahora vamos a salir de fiesta. Estoy solo en casa y le he invitado.
¿Solo?
Sí, solo. ¿El gato? Bueno, con él. ¿Y el gato que está abajo?
No
¿Qué le
puede
pasa?
ser, chicos. Yo vi que esa puerta que está enfrente se movió.
¿Cuál esta? ¿La de Javi?
¿Sí? Yo vi... No. Yo vi que la puerta que está enfrente suyo se movió.
Esa de ahí, nada.
Les juro que vi que esa puerta se movió.
No, mira. Nos está vacilando, o sea.
No, chicos, no. Yo lo vi con mis propios ojos. Yo vi que esa puerta de manera lenta se abrió y luego se cerró bruscamente, chicos.
Nos intenta meter miedo, ¿eh?
No les estoy mintiendo ni por mucho menos, por favor. Yo les juro que por mis ojos y por lo que más tengo en mi vida que esa puerta se movió.
Imposible, no hay nada. Así que, y mi gato está abajo, es imposible que se mueva nada. Nos está vacilando. Literalmente es el típico... Se ha quedado pillado. ¿Qué le pasa?
Atrás suyo hay alguien.
¿Cómo que atrás? ¡Me cago en la puta!
The strangest part of this entire sequence was that despite being stared at by the men, the spirit still stood there strongly, leading me to believe it was on the demonic side of ghosts. Looking the ghost face to face in the eyes sparked so much fear into the duo that they immediately skipped, hoping that the entire thing was some crazy plot from the dude in the headphones. It wasn't. Due to no updates or no information on them, we have no idea what happened in the next chapter of this story. Spirits are known for their unique abilities to go undetected in homes, and the one you're about to see almost mastered that ability. It invaded the home of university student James's aunt, who fortunately had a nanny cam set up in her bedroom. She did this as she was getting fairly old and wanted a way for people to check up on her, but it wouldn't be her that the family ended up concerned about. On a random Tuesday, James decided to check the camera to see how she was doing, but was greeted with a much less familiar face. Take a look.
I don't know if I'm seeing shit or tripping, but check this out. So this is my aunt's son's room, right? There's no one in here. Right? Nothing. Closet. Nothing. Got a nanny camera in here. Alright, now tell me, right on the monitor here, tell me that doesn't look like someone standing in the room.
Like I've checked, like went back and forth 3 times, and
So, okay. Nothing, right? Like, what the fuck? I do not want to go back in there. You have an idea? Put this, like, right here. And put this right here. Alright. Okay, I saw a ball in the other room. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay. Make sure it's clear. Alright, let's see how this goes. Okay, alright. Fuck, there is definitely something in there. What the fuck?
If that whole story wasn't enough to freak you out, I have no idea what would do the trick. The fact that even while standing in the doorway he couldn't see the ghost, but the camera still detected it at the exact same time must have been a very spooky situation to be in, and he advised that his auntie took up his room and he'd sleep on the couch. They locked the door, and the ghost still stands there to this day, waiting for its day to be released once again. Geometry Dash is a huge game, and many YouTube videos related to it are uploaded every single day. One of the YouTubers in the Geodash scene is called Fanksy, and he comes from Italy, offering the content to the Italian speakers who enjoy the game, a very smart way to tap into a competitive market. His subscribers wait for new videos every week, covering all aspects of the game, but on a random day in July, they got something far from that. They received a paranormal documentation. To set the scene, Fanksy had been experiencing paranormal activity for a few weeks prior to the video, and decided the best option was to keep it private. He believed that even if he did upload some of it to his huge platform of fans, he would be called a faker and tarnish his reputation, something no YouTuber would want to do. Fortunately though, this did not happen.
Bene, ma direi che possiamo passare al prossimo livello di Damor, Fanksy 3. Proviamo ragazzi, sono curioso di vedere quello che accadrà. Dobbiamo scaricare la canzone. Ok ragazzi, fermi un secondo. Ho sentito un rumore fortissimo, ma io sono a casa da solo. Spero sia il vento, ma non credo, visto che io chiudo sempre tutto, perché altrimenti ci sarebbero casini mentre registro. No, non è possibile. Ragazzi, no, adesso vi devo far vedere. No, vi giuro, raga, non è possibile. Allora, ragazzi, sono andato a controllare cosa potesse essere il rumore. Stiamo un attimo calmi. C'è la luce del bagno accesa. Vi giuro, io sono a casa da solo, non so se lo potete vedere. Stavo registrando, ho sentito il rumore della porta chiudersi e c'è la luce accesa. Raga, non sto scherzando. Allora, entro. Raga, sto tremando, vi giuro. Allora, come potete vedere, non c'è assolutamente nessuno.
Somehow the bathroom door opened and slammed itself closed mid-recording, and Finksy spent a good 1 minute emphasizing that he was the only one in the house. As well as this, he always asked Alexa to turn all the lights off when he was recording, and for some reason the bathroom one was on. Was this a technical error or something much, much worse? After investigating, he came to the conclusion that the cause of the door closing was the wind, and the reason for the light being on was an issue with his Alexa device. Both of these theories were false, but he didn't know that and decided to continue his recording.
Ok ragazzi, rieccoci. Non so cosa sia successo, all'improvviso la porta del bagno si è chiusa. Ragazzi, no vabbè, giuro adesso mi sto cagando in mano però veramente. Raga, sto tremando, sta succedendo qualcosa di strano e non sto scherzando. Ragazzi, la porta l'avevo chiusa. Raga, si poteva vedere prima che ho chiuso la porta quando sono entrato. No raga, vi giuro. Che cavolo sta succedendo? Cioè, ha sbattuto a caso. Ma poi con quale violenza? No ragazzi, dai, ma non scherziamo. Ragazzi, c'è la luce accesa di qua. Ragazzi, era spenta prima, l'avete potuto vedere. Sono passato da qua ed era tutto spento.
Strangely, just moments after hitting the continue button on his Streamlabs, the door to his bedroom slammed in an aggressive manner, and this frightened him into screaming. What made things even worse was that it opened itself again afterwards, which should be completely impossible. Possibilities that can only be denied by the paranormal entities of the world. After seeing this, Finksy knew that the spirit had made a return on camera and decided to set up some CCTV in the corner of the room. This way he would feel safe as he slept, and sleep he did. He stopped the recording as he was too shaken to act and called it a night.